Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are tackling a digital headache that I think a lot of us have felt. How in the world do you get your amazing, carefully built Spotify playlists over to SoundCloud? So let's start with a frustration that is probably pretty familiar. You've spent hours, maybe even years, putting together the absolute perfect playlist on Spotify. You know the one, it's got everything. But now you want to get it onto SoundCloud, because that's where all the unique remixes and exclusive DJ sets are. And if you felt this, you are definitely not alone. So many people want to move their music around, but they hit a wall pretty fast. You'd think it'd be as simple as, I don't know, copy and paste. Nope, it's way more complicated than that. So let's dive in.
So, why is this so hard? What is the big roadblock here? Well, the answer comes down to three little letters: DRM.
Think of DRM as a sort of digital wall that's built around every single song on Spotify. Its whole job is to protect the music from being copied and spread around freely. And this is the key thing to remember. Even if you're a premium subscriber and you download songs to listen offline, you don't actually own those files. You're basically just renting them. And this quote right here, it gets straight to the heart of it, that digital protection is the fundamental reason you can't just do a simple transfer. But, and this is a big but, that doesn't mean we're totally out of options. Don't worry, that digital wall we talked about, it has a few gates. So let's look at our first method, which we're going to call the online matchmakers. Okay, so what are these things? Well, they're online services. You've probably heard of some, like Soundize or Muzzcon. They're designed to be the super fast, super easy solution. Instead of actually moving your music files, they act like a kind of music detective. They scan your Spotify playlist, and then they go and search SoundCloud to find a match for every single song.
And the process itself is usually just incredibly simple. You basically just connect your accounts, pick the playlists you want to move, click one button, and then you just sit back and let the service work its magic. It's almost completely automated.
But, of course, it all comes down to a trade-off. You're trading convenience for completeness. Look, this method is absolutely brilliant for a quick sync. It's fast, it's easy. But, and this is the big catch, it can only transfer what it can find. If a song from your Spotify list isn't on SoundCloud for some reason, it just gets skipped, leaving you with annoying gaps in your playlist. Okay, so let's move on to our second method and see how this one tackles the problem. We're calling this the DIY converter path. Now, this approach is definitely more hands-on. Instead of relying on a service to find matches, you use a dedicated app on your computer, something like TunesBank, to actually get around the DRM and download your Spotify songs as regular MP3 files right onto your hard drive. This gives you complete control.
And you can see right here how different the process is. You're not just matching song titles anymore. You are physically downloading the music yourself, and then you're uploading your own files to build that new playlist from scratch.
So what does this method give you? Well, it gives you completeness and ownership. It for sure takes more effort. You have to install software, and it's more time-consuming. But it guarantees that every single one of your tracks makes the journey. And as a really nice bonus, you now have a local backup of your favorite playlists. Okay, so we've just covered two very different ways to get your music from point A to point B. Which one is right for you? Let's put them side by side and see. And looking at this chart, the choice becomes pretty clear. If you just care about speed and convenience, you're doing a casual playlist sync, the online matchmaker is probably your best bet. It's fast, low effort. But if you are a DJ or you're archiving your music or you're just someone who needs an absolutely perfect 100% complete copy of that playlist, then yeah, the DIY converter is the way to go, no question. You know, this whole process isn't really just about moving files from one app to another. It actually brings up a much bigger question about control. Control over these music collections that we spend years and years building. And at the end of the day, this is the choice every listener has to make. The entire digital music world is built on this balance, this trade-off between the incredible convenience of streaming on one side and the complete ownership of having local files on the other. One is easy, the other takes more effort. And that leaves us with a final thought, a pretty big question to chew on. In this era of digital locks and massive streaming platforms, who really owns our playlists? As all this tech evolves, that line between just listening to music and truly owning our collections, well, it gets blurrier and blurrier. And it leaves each of us to decide what really matters most.